This tutorial will give you an idea on what to do for a wisdom quest. Basically, a wisdom quest is kind of like an extemporaneous smattering of your thoughts and ideas and questions as you're going through websites rather than a report on something. It's fueled by your curiosity. I like to see more of your questions than I like to see your facts and facts from websites. What I'll do here is give you an idea of what a wisdom quest should look like. First, let's start with the prompt that I give, or a sample prompt, and I'll give you a website. Here, this is about Robert Pinsky and an interview he has with this woman, Elizabeth Farnsworth. And here he kind of has a poem called To Television. And here I like the way that kind of Pinsky says that, like television, it's winged at the helmet and ankles. And I like that idea of using myth with something technological. And I'm interested in that. And Elizabeth says some people find modern technology antithetical to poetry, even dangerous to the personal art that poetry is, but you don't, do you? And he says, that's a conventional idea, but poetry itself is a technology. Okay, so where do we start with this with a wisdom quest? First, let's start with this URL, and I'll copy that and bring that over to the Word document. We're going to start here. And basically, I'll say, I started at this website and was interested in the way poetry and technology were mixed together. So, and I might say, being curious about this, I decide to visit another site. So I want to see this kind of interview in action. I want to see and hear Robert Pinsky. So as a way to go from one thought to the next, I could say, I want to see Pinsky in action. So I visit, and now I'll just kind of go to YouTube. I typed in Robert Pinsky on poetry and film, and here I could just kind of view a video on it. And then in this area, back in my Word document in the Wisdom Quest itself, I'll just again copy that link and say, here I watched a video on Pinsky. I thought it was interesting that blah 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 blah, and let's get a little look at that quickly so you get an idea on what kind of things to look for.
Think about language itself. It's grunts. If somebody told you there's a planet in which the mammals, through an orifice of ingestion and respiration, it emits these grunts or sounds that are so finely refined that it gives complicated information. Information like, go to the hardware store and get me a pound of 3-penny galvanized roofing nails.
And so I could say something like, here again, Pinsky discusses the grunts and the technologies of the voice. And so I am interested in this again. So I go back to Google and type in technology and poetry, Pinsky. I could actually just cut out the end here if I wanted to. And I come up with a result, poetry pages, Pinsky on poetry, computers, and Dante. And I'm kind of interested about this. So I'm going to read through this article, try to figure out the relationship between poetry, computers, and Dante's Inferno from Pinsky's perspective. And so I'm just going to read through here, and I find some interesting information about Pinsky's electronic age spin on someone's observation, the muse in the machine, and this opening up, this discovery of much and little seems to be a fundamental resonance of human intelligence. This passage to vast complexities is at the essence of what writing through the machine might become. And so, again, what I'm going to do is copy this link and bring it over to my Wisdom Quest. Now you're going to be having a lot more information to fill in here, but this is just an idea of what you do. Here, Pinsky seems to discuss again the relationship between the machine and the writer. I wonder if he thought about so and so. and you can go from there. You could say, I wonder if he thought about the effect this might have on the use of instant messaging. When I realized here, when I got to the end of the article, I realized this is kind of in an instant message language type format, with Pinsky using his kind of instant messenger name here. So being curious about that, I go to Google, and I want to get more information about that. So let's now think about language, instant messaging language, and the effects. And this article I can also use as another source in my Wisdom Quest, and it's kind of gives a summary of what things are like with, especially in schools. Does this have to do with the bastardization of the language and so forth? So that can kind of be my fourth link in here, and I could say, you know, I'm curious about how this affects language, especially in schools. How is it affecting my language and spelling here? And then finally, let's say I go back to this site and I want to find one more source about it. Just looking at other articles here, I mean, this provides us some links. I could click on this, what corporate America can't build, a sentence. And we can finally go through here. This can be my last site right here. And after looking through this, I got an idea of the effects technology has on the workplace. Okay, so I can say, I can paste that link, and I can say briefly what the article was about. And basically I want to see the questions that you have and what you're curious about, and how this might tie back into our conversations and readings in the class.